So I recently decided to plug my PS4 back in. I've been playing a bit of Garden Warfare 2 on it since then. I was not rank 886 on here before. If I remember correctly, my highest streak was not with Citron before. This is also the first recording I've done since the end of February, or at least the second half of February. Things have happened recently, and I've been preoccupied on one end or the other. In case you can't tell, I had no idea how I wanted to start this. I'm on PS4, but I do not have PS Plus, so I've had to do solo play. And it's been an interesting experience doing that. What I'm gathering from playing it over the past month is when you throw yourself on multiplayer enough, there's a shocking amount of fine details that you miss. I've been playing on normal primarily. I don't like playing on crazy, because when you put it on crazy, the CPU cheating is worse than in Mario Kart 64. You think it's bad in that game? This is worse, trust me. Might crank it up to hard eventually, but for now I'm gonna stick to what I'm most familiar with. Been experimenting with team setup, playing against a lot of Cobs and robbers. You know what, I've made up my mind. It's gonna be Cobs and robbers versus historians. I'll play a couple games of that. Suburbanation, start with Lunar Landing. So that's my favorite map. Does it normally take me 5.5 minutes to do an intro? Engineer and Soldier. AC Perry's not a historian, but whatever. I'm not binded to the characters I pick as CPUs. One thing I will say is they came up with some interesting names for these computer characters. That was an excellent sonic grenade. Crusher Cobs, not quite one of the examples I was thinking of. Is that turbo jackhammer? I think it is. Not playing very good here. It gives me an opportunity to check and make sure everything's in order. Yeah, that is in fact turbo jackhammer. They're after the B point, that's why they're all congregating up here. Not gonna get it though, I'll wipe them all out. Might have worked with a different character. I've been ranking up characters I don't like as much this way. That's another example of how you look at things differently when you play solo play instead of online multiplayer. So you set the difficulty to normal. It's not as difficult to take out plants. With ×2 multiplier, you get 50 per plant hero or zombie hero. It's not the 200 you get online, but it's nothing to sniff at. And if you play something like Suburbanation, there's ways to get extra XP, like taking the points, Neutralizing a point gets you 100 still. Taking a point gets you 200. They didn't change that. And revives are still worth 100. Vanquish confirmed, get 50 per vanquish, 50 per orb. Doesn't matter if you deny or confirm an orb. You pick one up, you get 50 XP. And it almost seems easier to do than taking points in Suburbanation. Should have stunned him from the jump. I was not intending to take that corn down, I was just shooting for fun. And before Snowflake says something about that in my comments. Where's that pea shooter? Completely dropped the ball there. Oh, they spawn here. That's perfect. What names have it came up with here? Captain Youch. Centurion Fiddlesticks. That's not bad. Friggin' diggin'.
What's your profanity?
Infamous Miss P. That's a cactus. Jimmy the Husk. Frank the Cob. Oof, that was Infamous Miss P. Okay, this one doesn't have as many of the names as I remember. Some of the other ones have some choice ones. Where'd you go? I know you're here. I've not got my jackhammer. I think we've lost this game. I wasn't exactly focusing on the objectives enough just then. Case in point. Coin count is probably a testament to just how much I've been playing solo play recently. Would have been even more coins than that. But if the sticker shop wants to load anytime this century, picked up some Minions booster packs while I was ahead. Snapdragons, Gatling bots, heal flowers. Easy work. But bamboo shoots, on the other hand, I think I've seen them once the entire time I've been opening these packs. Frosty Creek's a fan favorite. It's as good a map as any. Why are you going that way? The point's this way. Well, because of my efforts, we suburbanated. One general piece of gaming news that I picked up on recently that I wanted to discuss a little. Found out recently that Rec Room is shutting down. Remember when I played that and made the number 16 look like grade A under A? Oh no. That looks like grade A under A. That game. That one's shutting down. And I'm upset about that. Poor thing only lasted 10 years. I don't know if you've heard of a state of Roblox. That's the comparison I automatically make with that game. Roblox. But it's less restricted. And how ironic is that? Chris Hansen jumped down Roblox's throat. That's all you need to know. One reason I don't play Roblox anymore, and why I will probably never touch it again. So instead I discovered Rec Room, got to enjoy it, and not even a year later, well, at most a year later, I discovered they pulled a plug on it on June 1st. Sure, Rec Room doesn't have as much as Roblox, but they haven't been around as long. They didn't have... How do I phrase this? What I'm really trying to say is Rec Room didn't get to develop as much as Roblox has. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's a good thing. At least they didn't live to see themselves become the villain. So here I am saying I'm gonna miss the game when it goes down. Rec Room's not the only one shutting down soon. Garden Warfare 1 on PS3 is going out the window at the end of this month. That feels weird to think about. There's probably things I feel right now that I don't know how to express. I've sat in silence for like a minute or two, trying to think of how to express something, and I just don't know how. So I'm not gonna bother, I'm just gonna call it quits before this gets any more strange. Main bottom line though, solo play on Garden Warfare 2, pleasantly surprising. If you're on Xbox or PlayStation and you don't have the online membership, solo play is still good. At least, I recommend it. I'll probably play more of it, cycling through different plant and zombie loadouts. I hope what I said about Rec Room somehow manages to make sense to somebody. Don't know why I tried to talk about that while playing. That's gonna be painful to string together in editing, probably. I don't know what I'm gonna do next. Might or might not be on Switch. It might or might not be more Garden Warfare 2. We'll find out together. See you there.